If you want to change your life, don't wait for the year to end. Start with 1 hour today. You don't need a full day to turn things around. You don't need more luck, more talent, or more time. What you need is structure. What you need is a decision. And it starts with just 60 minutes a day, 1 hour, used with focus, used with intention, used to work on something that matters. This isn't about rushing. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right thing daily, 1 hour at a time. In this video, you'll learn how to use just 60 minutes each day to take control, to grow, to fix, and to build. Stay with this message because your future is not waiting. And this hour might be the one that changes everything. Number 1. Use the first hour to build your personal philosophy. If you want to change your future, you don't have to wait for the right opportunity. You don't need a miracle. You don't need someone to show up and do it for you. What you really need is a small block of time each day. Just 1 hour. But it can't be any hour. It must be the first hour. The first hour of your day is where your future is built or where it is delayed. That's where everything starts to shift. If you use it well, most people wake up and give their first hour to distraction. They reach for their phone. They scroll. They check everything outside of themselves before checking in with who they are. That's the problem. When you hand over the beginning of your day to noise, you lose the power to shape what matters. You begin the day responding instead of building. And when that becomes your habit, the years go by and nothing changes. But if you use that hour to build your personal philosophy, if you take that first part of the day to think clearly, to focus on who you are becoming, to study the ideas that shape your beliefs, then you start to lead your life instead of follow it. The truth is, everyone builds their future around something. The question is, are you doing it on purpose or just letting it happen? A strong personal philosophy doesn't just appear one day. It's not something you download. It's built, one idea at a time, one principle at a time, 1 hour at a time. That's the beauty of the first hour. You get to choose what goes in your mind before the world tries to decide that for you. That 1 hour is where you design your thinking. And once your thinking changes, everything else changes. People often ask what separates those who rise and those who stay stuck. And the answer isn't luck. It's not talent. It's not even money. It's how they use their time, especially the first hour. Successful people make that hour count. They study. They reflect. They ask the hard questions. They prepare their mind to lead the rest of the day. And those who drift through life, they waste it. They treat the beginning of their day like it doesn't matter, but it does, more than they know. If you use the first hour to build your personal philosophy, you give yourself a huge advantage. You're not guessing what to do next. You're not confused by every new trend or distraction. You know who you are. You know what you value. And that gives you stability. Because in a world full of noise, your philosophy becomes your anchor, your direction, your filter. You can't control everything that happens during the day, but you can control how the day begins. And that control is enough to take back your life. You can use that time to read something that stretches your mind. You can write down what you believe. You can plan the kind of person you want to be. You can study a few pages from a book that has lasted for decades, not just something that's trending for a week. That's how you grow, by feeding your mind with wisdom, by reflecting on it, by asking what it means for your life. That's how personal philosophy is built, not by repeating what others say, but by understanding it for yourself and choosing what to keep. That takes thought, that takes honesty, and it takes time. But it starts with 1 hour. That 1 hour could be the difference between being reactive and being ready. It could mean the difference between feeling lost and feeling solid. It could separate a future of excuses from a future of discipline. And you get to choose which future you build by what you do with that time. Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. You don't need 10 hours a day. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need 60 quiet minutes where you're not rushed, not distracted, and not lying to yourself. Just 1 hour where you're real, where you ask what matters, where you challenge your habits, where you take back your thinking. That's the kind of hour that shapes everything that follows. Your personal philosophy is the foundation of your results. It's behind every decision you make. It shows up in your habits, in your relationships, in your finances, in your work. So why not build it with care? Why not sharpen it daily? Why not use the first hour to become more aware, more thoughtful, more committed? There's no secret to this. You already have the time. The question is how you're using it. The people who live with clarity and direction didn't get lucky. They made a decision. They decided to stop wasting the most valuable part of their day. They decided to build themselves from the inside out. And that one decision changed everything. This isn't about motivation. It's about structure. It's about putting yourself in the right position before the day begins. Because if you don't guide your day will guide you. And it usually won't take you anywhere you really want to go. Start small if you have to. But wake up 1 hour earlier. Find a quiet place. Sit with your thoughts. Read something valuable. Write down what you believe and why. Think about your future. Not just what you want, but who you need to become. That's how your future is built. With clarity, with structure, and with personal responsibility. If you give your first hour to distraction, you will always feel behind. But if you give that hour to philosophy, to direction, to discipline, you give yourself a fighting chance. You stop waiting. You start leading. And over time, that first hour begins to change the rest of the day. And when your days start to change, your life starts to change. It's not magic. It's not complicated. It's just consistent effort in the right direction. That's what transforms your future. 1 hour, every day, used with purpose, used with thought, used to build the person you know you can become. And it all starts with how you begin your morning. That's where it all begins. Number 2, disconnect from noise and study something that matters. If your days feel noisy, cluttered, and unclear, that's a sign something needs to change. The truth is, your future is shaped by what you allow into your mind. And too many people let in too much nonsense. From the moment they wake up, they're surrounded by distractions, notifications, gossip, arguments, empty content. All of it takes up space in their head. And without realizing it, they end up carrying confusion instead of clarity. That's why the most important step is to disconnect. Remove the noise. Step away from what doesn't serve you. That's the start of real personal transformation. You don't need to consume everything around you. In fact, that's the trap. The more noise you consume, the less you can think clearly. And the less you think clearly, the more you react instead of lead. You start copying others. You follow the crowd. You repeat opinions that aren't even yours. That kind of living won't take you far. What changes your life is when you cut away the noise and choose your input carefully. 1 hour, every day, no distractions. Just you and something worth learning. Something that sharpens you. Something that helps you see better. You have to study something that matters. That means choosing information that has weight, that builds something inside you. Don't waste this hour on surface-level talk or trendy nonsense. Use it to understand timeless truths, deep ideas, and real-world knowledge. The kind of learning that stays with you. The kind that challenges your thinking. This is where growth happens. Not in comfort, but in clarity. In those moments when you sit down with a quiet mind and a strong focus. That's when you start to build a different version of yourself. If you can give yourself 60 minutes without interruptions, you'll notice something powerful. Your thoughts get clearer. Your direction gets stronger. You start noticing what you've been ignoring. The noise that once felt normal begins to feel wrong. And that's the point. Because transformation doesn't happen when you're surrounded by distractions. It happens in silence. It happens when you choose stillness over chaos. It happens when you break free from shallow habits and dig into something real. Something that stretches your mind and strengthens your discipline. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You don't need 10 hours of study. You need 1 hour done well. 1 hour without your phone. 1 hour without updates, comments, alerts, or unnecessary noise. Just 1 hour where you say, this time is for me, not for entertainment, not for scrolling, but for growth. You give your future a gift when you commit to this. You give yourself the structure to rise above the average. And over time, that decision separates you from those who stay stuck. Most people think learning is something you finish, but it's not. Learning is something you choose every day. And it's not about volume, it's about value. What are you feeding your mind? What kind of ideas are you studying? Are they helping you think better, act wiser, live stronger, or are they just filling the space? If you don't study something meaningful, you risk becoming someone who knows a little about everything, but understands nothing deeply. And in today's world, deep understanding is your edge. Transformation doesn't come from what others say. It comes from what you discover when you sit alone with the right material. When you read a powerful paragraph that forces you to pause. When you hear an idea that makes you reconsider how you live. When you take notes, not because someone told you to, but because something inside you says, this matters. That's where the future shifts, right there. In the silence, in the focus, in the depth of what you choose to learn. Every day gives you a chance to move forward or fall behind. And you don't need massive changes overnight. What you need is one daily hour, with no noise. One session of honest focus. That's where progress lives. That's where you become more skilled, more thoughtful, more prepared. The future belongs to those who are willing to shut out what doesn't help and go after what does. Not once a month, not when it's convenient, but every day with purpose, with effort, with full attention. It's not about impressing others. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about being responsible with your time. It's about deciding that you won't waste your energy on things that drain you. It's about knowing that your life will be shaped by what you allow yourself to focus on. That's why this hour matters. Not just as a routine, but as a commitment. A personal promise to yourself that you won't live passively. That you'll use your time with intention and build something lasting. The noise will always be there. The distractions aren't going away. But you can make a different choice. You can step back. You can log out. You can unplug. And when you do, you create space for something better. Space for real learning. Space for clarity. Space for becoming the kind of person who doesn't just react to life, but creates it. That's how you transform your future. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters. 60 minutes, every day. Disconnected from noise. Fully connected to growth. Number 3. Pick one skill and practice it. Every single day. Most people spend their lives searching for big changes, while ignoring the power of small, focused actions. The truth is, your future won't change by chance. It will change by what you choose to get better at. And the most direct way to transform where you're headed is to pick one skill and work on it every single day. Not once in a while. Not when you feel like it. But daily. One skill. 1 hour. That's how improvement becomes part of who you are, instead of just something you hope for. That one choice builds the next level of your life. The reason most people stay stuck is because they try to do too many things at once. They scatter their energy. They learn a little here, dabble a little there, but they don't stay with anything long enough to grow. If you want real results, you have to choose. Focus beats motion. Discipline beats enthusiasm. Pick one skill, something that matters to you, something that can make your life better, and practice it. Not perfectly, but consistently. In 60 minutes a day, you will build what most people spend years avoiding. Consistency creates confidence. It's not about becoming the best overnight. It's about showing up each day with a decision to get better. When you give 1 hour to one skill, you start noticing small wins. You begin to feel more capable. You move from guessing to knowing. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting your process. Progress builds belief, and belief builds momentum. That's how you go from average to exceptional. By putting in the work that others aren't willing to do when no one's watching. Don't underestimate how far 1 hour can take you. If you use it with purpose, that 1 hour becomes your edge. While others waste their time hoping things change, you'll be changing them. While others are distracted, you're sharpening. While others make excuses, you're developing strength. And over time, that gap between you and them grows wider. Because the one who shows up daily to train their skill always becomes the one others turn to. Not by talking about it, but by proving it through consistent action. The world rewards those who become excellent at something, not those who are busy, but those who are useful. And usefulness comes from competence. You don't become valuable by wishing. You become valuable by learning how to do something well. Whether it's writing, speaking, building, teaching, leading, pick the one that speaks to your purpose and start working on it today. The more you practice, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more value you create. And the more value you create, the more opportunities start to find you. There will be days you won't feel like it. That's normal. What matters is that you show up anyway, because discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It just asks that you do it. 1 hour is not asking too much. In fact, it's asking just enough to separate you from those who quit, enough to sharpen your thinking, enough to build something strong from the inside. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to move forward. Every single day. 1 hour. That's where growth becomes real. It's easy to admire people who are great at what they do. But what you don't see is the work they did when no one was clapping. You don't see the hours they invested, the mistakes they made, the frustration they overcame. All you see is the outcome. But if you're willing to commit to the same kind of daily discipline, you'll eventually reach your own level of excellence. Not by copying someone else, but by fully owning your own progress. That's what separates people who talk about success from those who actually earn it. You don't need a lot of resources to practice a skill. You need intention. You need time set aside. You need a reason to keep going. And most of all, you need to protect that 1 hour like it matters, because it does. That hour is your builder. That hour is your weapon. That hour is where future success is silently being shaped. No shortcuts, no pretending, just quiet effort, honest repetition, daily focus. And if you do that long enough, the results start to speak for you. People who win in life aren't always the smartest. They're not always the most talented, but they're usually the ones who decided to master something that mattered. They put in the quiet hours. They kept practicing while others were comfortable. They turned their discipline into ability, and that ability turned into results. You have that same ability to commit. You have the power to use your time with precision. You just have to make the decision to take one skill and make it a daily priority. If you want to transform your future, don't wait for the right time. Create it. Pick a skill that aligns with your goals. One that will help you grow. One that opens doors. One that challenges you to think and improve. Then give it 1 hour a day. Not someday. Not when you feel like it. But now, every day. One focused skill. 1 hour. Repeated over time. That's how you build strength. That's how you change direction. That's how your future is built. Through effort no one sees. Until the results they can't ignore start showing. Number 4. Focus 1 hour daily on becoming more valuable. If you want a better future, you must first become a better person. And one of the most practical ways to start is to take 1 hour each day and focus on increasing your value. Not your appearance, not your image, but your real value. The kind that makes you more capable, more trustworthy, more effective. This isn't about impressing others. It's about becoming the kind of person who solves problems, who gets things done, and who keeps growing. Because the truth is, people are rewarded based on the value they bring, not the effort they talk about, but the results they deliver. Becoming more valuable means you work on the parts of yourself that affect how you think, speak, and perform. You study, you improve your mindset, you build new skills, you strengthen your discipline. You learn how to manage time better, how to communicate clearly, how to stay focused under pressure. These are real things that translate into real-world improvement. And they don't happen by accident. They happen when you block out time on purpose. 1 hour a day to work on what matters most, your personal value. The world pays attention to people who stand out, and people stand out by being useful. Not loud, not flashy, but useful. You become useful when you learn how to do things others avoid. When you develop abilities that make you a solution in a world full of complaints. That's how you increase your opportunities, by being the person who brings answers, not problems. And if you work on that every day, even just for an hour, you'll separate yourself from those who stay stuck, blaming and waiting. This kind of daily focus isn't about pressure. It's about commitment. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You're simply deciding to grow, quietly, consistently, intentionally. An hour a day where you're not checking your phone, not wasting time, not entertaining distractions. Just one solid hour where you ask, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? That question alone can change everything, because it shifts your energy from survival to strength, from reaction to creation, from drifting to directing your life. No one hands you value. It's something you earn. And once you understand that, you stop waiting for things to get easier. You start getting stronger. You begin to take ownership of your growth, and you begin to see progress, not in the distant future, but in your daily life. Better habits, better thinking, better actions. That's the path. It's not always exciting, but it works. And those who stick to it always move ahead of those who only talk about what they want. Every day is an opportunity to become more valuable than you were the day before. But it requires you to be honest with yourself. What are you doing with your time? Who are you learning from? What are you practicing? Are you showing up or making excuses? You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to commit to the hour. Not for anyone else. Not for praise, but because you know your future depends on how you show up now. The most successful people aren't driven by luck. They're driven by structure. They don't leave their growth to chance. They schedule it. They protect their time. They show up even when they're tired. That's what separates those who get ahead from those who stay in place. If you want more, you have to become more. And becoming more starts with deciding to improve what you bring to the table. Not someday, not when it's convenient, but today with 1 hour dedicated to becoming more valuable. Start where you are. Use what you have. If all you can do today is study one chapter, take one note, practice one thing, do it. Don't underestimate how powerful that hour becomes when repeated daily. It stacks. It compounds. And before you know it, you've built momentum. And with momentum comes confidence. And with confidence comes action. That's how transformation begins, not through dramatic change, but through small focused decisions you follow through on without excuse. You'll face distractions. You'll feel resistance. You'll have days where motivation is low. That's normal. But the decision to keep going, that's where strength is built. That's where your future takes shape. Not in what you say you'll do, but in what you actually do with your time. So protect that hour. Honor that hour. Make it part of your life like eating or breathing. Because once it becomes who you are, everything else starts to rise with it. The most powerful shift you can make today is to stop waiting and start building. Not building a perfect image, but building real value. The kind that grows from consistent effort, from 1 hour of focused improvement, from daily decisions to push forward instead of falling back. That's how you rise. That's how you change direction. That's how you transform your future. By becoming someone worth following, worth trusting, worth remembering. And it starts with 1 hour, used well, every single day. Number 5. Spend 1 clean hour fixing your current situation. If your life isn't where you want it to be, the solution isn't to complain or wait. It's to face the truth and do something about it. You fix your current situation by working on it directly, not by wishing things would change. Spend 1 clean hour each day looking at the reality you've created. What's working? What's not? What needs to stop immediately? What do you need to start today? 1 hour of honest effort each day focused on your real problems can turn your life around faster than a lifetime of ignoring them. That 1 hour can start your rebuild. People often look at their situation and feel overwhelmed. But if you break it down and give it focused attention, you start seeing what needs to be done. This isn't about fixing everything in one day. It's about taking responsibility piece by piece. Spend 1 hour every day cleaning up what's been neglected. Whether it's your finances, your health, your daily routine, or your attitude, give it time, give it focus, give it consistent action. That's how progress begins. You stop delaying and start doing. And that's what separates movement from excuses. You don't need special tools or big plans to improve your life. What you need is 1 clean hour with 0 distractions and full ownership. That means turning off the noise, silencing the outside world, and getting real with yourself. Look at your habits, your environment, your mindset, your choices. Take notes, make decisions, follow through. 1 hour of clarity each day can expose years of bad patterns, and with that clarity you finally begin to replace them with better ones. This kind of hour isn't optional, it's necessary. If your current situation is draining you, stop waiting for someone else to fix it. No one's coming to rescue you, but you can rescue yourself, 1 step at a time. That's why this daily hour matters so much. It's your time to face the things you've avoided. It's your time to correct the small details that shape your outcomes. And once you start, you'll begin to feel your confidence return. Because when you act, you no longer feel stuck. You feel powerful again. And that shift alone begins to change everything around you. Fixing your situation isn't about doing dramatic things. It's about doing the right things consistently. 1 hour daily with honest work can fix what years of waiting never will. Look at your daily habits. Are they helping you or hurting you? Look at your finances. Are you wasting or managing? Look at your mindset. Are you growing or just reacting? In that 1 hour, work with purpose. Eliminate what's not serving you. Keep what builds you. Adjust what drains you. You become strong by doing the uncomfortable things, not avoiding them. Don't expect change to feel good right away. Fixing your life will challenge your comfort. But that's the price of transformation. You give up short-term comfort for long-term stability. You trade blame for control. You replace delay with action. In that 1 hour each day, you reclaim your power. You don't fix everything at once, but you fix something, 1 decision, 1 correction, 1 improvement. And those small daily adjustments add up to major life shifts. That's the real process. Simple, quiet, disciplined, and repeated. Use that hour to look at what's slowing you down. Is it people, patterns, or your own thoughts? Be honest. If something isn't working, remove it. If something needs more attention, give it. Your current situation doesn't define you. It just reflects your previous choices. And now you have the time every day to start making better ones. You don't need to do it all. You just need to do 1 thing better than you did yesterday. That's the mindset that turns problems into plans and stress into strategy. You can't grow if you're not facing the truth. The hour you give yourself daily should be free of distractions, blame, and excuses. Just clear, focused effort on getting your life together, your routines, your responsibilities, your thinking, your goals. Progress is not random. It's built in private, with small decisions made daily. That's how real change takes root. And it starts by fixing what you've avoided, healing what you've neglected, and strengthening what's been weak. Give that hour the seriousness it deserves. Your future depends on it. You'll be tempted to skip it. You'll want to delay. You'll tell yourself you'll do it later. But remember, that's the pattern that got you stuck. The only way out is through new discipline, through showing up even when it's uncomfortable, through working through the mess instead of complaining about it. Every day you give 1 hour to fixing your life. You remove a piece of chaos and replace it with order. You become sharper, calmer, clearer. You begin to live with more direction and less confusion. The truth is, your situation doesn't improve by accident. It improves because you made a decision. Not once, but every day. To face what's broken. To correct what's wrong. To repair what's been ignored. That's how you transform your future, with just 60 minutes daily. Not by chasing motivation. Not by dreaming without action. But by sitting down, staying present, and doing the work that actually moves you forward. You already have the hour. Now use it. Use it to clean up your life and step into a better one. Number 6. Make 1 hour your turning point, starting from today. Every person reaches a point where they feel the weight of their choices. Some ignore it, some run from it. But a few make a decision that changes everything. That decision doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It can be quiet. It can be simple. It can start with just 1 hour. If today feels like another average day, turn it into a turning point. 1 clean hour focused on your life, your goals, your change. That's how transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. 1 hour today can start a completely different direction. Time will keep moving, whether you use it well or waste it. But 1 hour, used right, can reset your focus, renew your energy, and reshape your future. This hour is your starting point. Not for perfection, but for direction. Use it to pause, to think, to break a pattern that's been holding you back. You don't need a new year or a perfect plan. You need the courage to take control of 1 hour and make it count. When that becomes your habit, your entire life starts to shift in ways you didn't think possible. It's easy to say you want more. It's harder to claim the responsibility that comes with it. But when you stop making excuses and give yourself 1 intentional hour, you begin to take back your future. Turn off distractions. Step away from noise. Get real with yourself. Think about where you're going and why. Think about what needs to stop and what needs to begin. That hour isn't